Hey, what's up YouTube? Welcome back to another video on high altitude investing. My name is Dallin Anderson and today I'm going to be talking about my journey in Bitcoin, the cycles I've rode, the money I've made, the money I've lost, the things I've learned, basically everything I've learned about market cycles, the fear, the greed, the emotions that I felt, and going over my story. I really feel that this video will be important today just because I've noticed there's a lot of crazy stuff going on in the world, and I'm sure you guys have as well. And I feel that the cycles of emotion that I felt have been very, very drastic along these cryptocurrency journeys. And I've learned a lot about human emotion, about crowd psychology, and all of these things. So this video is going to be very, very awesome. Make sure that you guys stay all to the end so that you hear my story about Bitcoin, learn a little bit about crowd psychology, and protect yourself from all the craziness in the world. Make sure that you guys also hit that like button for me right now, as well as the subscribe button, because I'm dedicated to uploading 5 videos a week all through 2020 to keep you guys posted and updated in the cryptocurrency markets. And without further ado, let's get straight into the video. So this is the Bitcoin chart right here, and I'm just going to start off by showing you guys where I actually invested in Bitcoin first. One of the first buys I bought with Bitcoin was actually somewhere around $200 in this wick right here. And my little brother told me about Bitcoin somewhere around here. It was either 2015 or 2014. And then I noticed it started dropping down to here. I was listening to a Joe Rogan podcast with Andreas Antonopoulos, and I actually worked at a Marriott hotel at the time, and they mentioned Bitcoin. So I actually bought some around here in 2015 and purchased some Bitcoin. And shortly after that, I actually lost my job, but I had a little bit of money into the markets and it rallied all the way up to $500 per coin. So that really made me excited. I actually went to McDonald's with some of my buddies and got hyped about the markets. So why is this important? Well, I just wanted to give you some perspective about how early I got into the cycle, and also some perspective about the fact that I bought after a very large correction. I bought in a very, very good time, and because of that, I didn't really experience a lot of initial losses, and that can kind of give you a false sense of security in the markets. So I noticed that we started to keep trending up, and I actually put my money into this coin XMR, and it was on Poloniex. There was actually Ethereum, XMR, quite a few coins on there really, really early on. So this was 2016. I'm learning a little bit about trading, still thinking mainly in terms of fundamentals and news, didn't know as much about technicals yet. And I put some money in XMR. I actually made enough to buy my first car. And that was that was a 2003 BMW. Cost me about $4,000. I was like, "Wow, that's so crazy for the little amount of money I put in, because I only bought about a Bitcoin." That was really like $180 invested. Put some money in an altcoin, bam, I have a car. And then I had a little bit of extra money in the markets, and so I reinvest. But then this whole dip right here happened, and I actually lost quite a bit of the money I reinvested. But I got a car out of it, so that was cool, right? Now, this is kind of where, for me, where things got kind of dark for me, because me and my family didn't get along super well in this period of time, and we had some differences. We got along, but we definitely had some differences. And so I moved out of my family's house, and shortly after that, because I had bought the car, I basically couldn't pay for the rent, and also my roommates were leaving, so I didn't have any roommates to pay for the other portion. I probably would have been good if they didn't leave, but just one of those life situations. And so I was like, okay, what do I do? I call up my parents. I had to move back at my parents' house, but because of the disagreements, I actually moved into a little shack that was outside of my family's house, because we had disagreements. We weren't in the best place. We weren't at the time. We didn't have the best relationship, and so that was kind of around 2000 or late 2016, and so I got really like kind of sad and depressed, right? And that was where I found myself, was in that sadness. And I actually I knelt down and I prayed one night and just asked you know, asked asked God basically what to do, and I just got the feeling that I should write down on a piece of paper 10 things that were important to me. And I actually ended up writing more than that, but those were the things I wanted in my life. Some of them were just to name a few: health, wealth, abundance, family, love, things like that, friends, just positive things. And since then, my life has just seen nothing but a growth of all of those things. And um, because I had lost some of my money in the markets, I had to get more money to put back into the markets. You know how it goes. It's one of those journeys. You're going to get your account wiped out, especially early on. Thankfully, I didn't have a lot invested, and so I had my car still, so I put a little bit more money into the markets. I started learning more. I started doing a little bit of affiliate marketing of another person's course that was teaching crypto stuff on YouTube, and had some money to put in. So I put in about $1,000 when Bitcoin was worth around 1,000 or just under. This is where my life changed. So after hitting rock bottom, you guys, I actually completely flipped around and went into this huge, really exciting, really fun part of my life. I had two of my best friends living with me. We were working on my business every single day. We were investing money into the markets. We were teaching. We were sharing our signals, our investments, and we were all making so much money. And it was all through this huge period of time right here. And I made a lot of money, you guys. And that was multi-$100,000. I don't want to go into exact amounts on here. I don't want to disclose exact amounts, but it was a life-changing amount of money in this period of time from investing and trading alone. And so that was really fun and really kind of got me excited about the markets. But I also, at the top of the market, that kind of got to my head, you guys, and I got in a little bit of a relationship I personally didn't want to be in, and that got to me and it weighed on me, and I just felt like I was making decisions and choices of things I didn't want to, and I was acting based on like more of like a need. Oh, I have to do this, or I needed to do this. And because of that, because of some personal decisions I made, I bought a new car up there, all these different things. I basically made some bad investing decisions in 2018, and this was another huge learning experience for me, watching my portfolio drop, watching the markets drop, but still having primaries and alternatives. I mean, when Bitcoin was at 20K, I had an alternative of it going to 3K, but just the market doing different things than I originally planned and having to work around that and figure out what to do. And so that was kind of a pretty gnarly time for me in 2018. I kind of struggled with a lot of different things, but it was a huge learning experience, and there was lots of emotion. And when Bitcoin reached 3,000, because it was my alternative, I got really excited because I was at that alternative prediction, and I knew that it was going to see a really big swing. So I did some webinars, invested more money into the markets, started making money again. And it's just crazy that this whole cycle teaches you so much, the ups, the downs, all of it. And I was able to make a good amount of money in this swing up here again. And, I'm putting money back into the markets again. And I feel that this is time personally. This is not financial advice. This is my personal journal, my personal experience, my personal story. But this whole thing has been so humbling for me and teaching me so much. And this is a time that I'm personally getting into the markets. If we see some type of death wick, I will buy, guys, because I think this is all just fear. This is all just panic before we see the real swing up in the markets, the real big long-term bullish growth for crypto, because that's what's here. And with that being said, you guys, this is similar to the world markets with all the fear, the pandemic fear right now. Just understand that when people are the most fear, and when you're at the most confusion and you're just having lots of feelings of self-doubt or anything like that, you're about to learn a lot about yourself, and you're about to realize all of those areas where you were just doubting yourself, or where you were getting delusional in the market and over investing and thinking that it's going to last forever that way. And just be honest and open with yourself and the people around you about these experiences, and you will grow and learn from them. And with the fear in the world with the pandemic, there's a lot of fear right now, but it will change. It will flip into a bigger thing. It will flip into bullish movement. We will recover from this. We'll recover as a society, no matter what happens, no matter how big the correction is in Bitcoin, no matter how big the correction is in the stock market. And that's why it's a lifelong journey for me. I've had lots of ups and downs. I've made money, I've lost money, everything in between. But overall, I've made way more money in the markets than I've ever lost. And the fact that I was able to pull so much out of it is such an amazing thing. And it's been such a big blessing in my life. And that's why I love sharing this knowledge and information with you guys. And I really feel that even the world markets and those things will be a big blessing in our lives as well. We will have a lot of growth from the world markets in the future, no matter how big its correction is also, and we'll recover from all of this fear and all of this FUD. And that's been my experience, you guys. The cycles always recover. There's always dips, even all of these little dips and up and down along the way. I mean, that was emotion for me. This was emotion, this was emotion, this was emotion, this capitulation was emotion. But you just learn from that, and you manage the emotion, and you stay as level-headed as possible, and you figure out what to do with your money, and you keep making money in the long term, no matter what happens while you're learning, you know, because you're going to have big swings up and down. So that's my experience, you guys. Sorry that my video is a little later today. I was actually fishing with my dad. You know what? I'm not sorry. I went fishing. It was super awesome. I had a great experience. And either way, you guys still got your video today. And you guys, I just wanted to tell this story so that you are aware of what it's going to be like. You're going to feel all sorts of things in this journey. But if you make it about, if you're in it for the long haul, if you make it about the journey, you will be on top for the long haul. And that's how I feel about everything that's happening in the world and everything that's happening with Bitcoin. And it's my journey on this channel to share those experiences with you. I know I don't have the hat today, wearing a robe. I just took my cold shower because, like I said, I was fishing. But that's my journey, you guys. It's one hell of a ride. It's one hell of an experience. But you will come out a stronger person on top from all of this and all of this investing. A lot of you guys, a lot of professional traders that I've talked to, that I've met, you know, early on, they've wiped out accounts and stuff like that. So if that's happened to you, it's a learning experience. Treat it like that. You will come out in the long term with growth and with profits. Thank you guys so much for tuning in today's video. I think that Bitcoin for me is a long-term thing, is a long-term journey. I have been buying this dip, and if it dips again, I will put more cash reserves in, even if it goes to a death wick like I talked about in my last video, which, by the way, check that out. Hit that like button for me, you guys. I hope that you appreciated my story and my journey and my experience with all of this. We're going to make a bunch of money in these markets. It's going to be an amazing experience, and I really appreciate you guys tuning in today's video. As always, stay profitable out there.